Okay, I'm going to show you how to take apart and put back together the perfect fry fryer we use in the kitchen. So it's a pretty simple machine. You just got to remember which parts go where. So we've got it out in the workshop right now. You don't absolutely have to, but always a good thing to unplug and make sure it's all cooled down, powered off or unplugged. And these twist open the door, and the door lifts right off. Just two little hinges here, two little pegs that just sits on there. It's got a spring-loaded door that just stays attached. Okay, once the door is off, we're ready to pull out the air filter. These get changed routinely. They look dirty, but they usually have a lot of mileage left in them. So, got the air filter, and then there is the top pan up here, and inside the top pan is the oil filter. It's an air filter, but it filters oil out of the air. So with this one, it's a little stiff in there. Sometimes you got to give it a little upward palm right here. Pops it up, and it slides forward. Now all these pieces here, they're kind of like puzzle pieces. This is that oil air filter. It's called the oil filter. It's actually just filters oil out of the air. All these pieces you're going to clean individually every week. So that's all the top pieces. You got the air filter in its frame cage. This cage does come apart. Make sure you put it back together. And then in the bottom, we've got the basket, if it's not already out, usually is. And then we've got the basket elevator. This one's a little bit tricky. It's got 4 points of contact. It's got, come in closer here. So for the elevator, it's got these two little catches on the top hinges, and the bottom hinges are on a rod. That rod's got a hole here, and then it's got a bent rod that sticks down into a hole over here. So we just lift those two up, and if you pull that towards you, it comes up out of the liquid, the oil, and then just lift up on the rod, and you'll see it pop right out of the little hole. And there's the basket lifter. That leaves us with three things left. We've got the heating unit, the heating element. We've got the actual fryer vat. And then we've got the catch tray underneath the vat. So I'm going to pull the vat back. Again, these are like puzzle pieces. So all these things fit in there really tight together, but they do come in and out. So the first couple times you do it, it kind of feels like you're working on a 3D puzzle. So the heating element has a little handle on it. You're going to grab that and just kind of wiggle it side to side and back, and you'll feel it just pops right off on the plug that it sits on. I'm going to pull that backwards now. To get the heating element out, I've got to get it by all these fire suppression heads over here. So it's side to side and back to get it around those. We're going to go to the left and then back. And the whole vat slides out. But you have to navigate the heating element around all that little stuff in there. And here's our heating element. Now when that comes out of there, it's going to be dripping oil. So you want to keep a foil pan nearby to set it in. Right now we were just doing some work on it, and it's water in here. That's how you do maintenance on these. If you've got to do any kind of testing, you use water. And then, so that's the fryer vat that holds the oil. And you can see the liquid. This is just water in here now, but down here there's two lines. The bottom line is cold oil. That's how high it should be full if it's cold. And once it gets hot, it should be up to that top line there. And as you use the fryer throughout the day, it does use up some oil. Some of it drips out, some of it goes on the food. And over time, a lot of use, the oil level goes down. And you'll have to add a little bit of oil to it here and there. So I'm going to move this over here. And that leaves. And this is just basically a catch basin for any oil that overflows out of the oil vat. And it's just basically a piece of metal. And then that leaves that's everything out of the fryer. That's completely tore down. This is ready to be cleaned on the inside. And now I want to show you how to put it back together in a different video. All right, we're going to put it back together now. And putting it back together is simple, not always easy, especially the first time you do it. So take your time, and you're simply going to put it back together in the opposite order of how we took it apart. So we take it apart, we clean it, every part individually, and then we're going to put it back together. That's what I'm going to show you right now. So it can be a little confusing because you've got the door, you've got the lifter tray, the basket itself, you've got the top pan and the filter. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different pieces. So once you get it all good and clean, you're going to slide that. This is that pan. This is not the fryer vat. This is the bottom pan that holds the fryer vat, catches anything that might drip out. So that was the last thing we took out. So it's the first thing that we put back in. Next, we put the fryer vat. I emptied it out. I dumped out that water that was in it. And we put it in. But before we slide it all the way back, we've got to get the heating element in, because that goes in together with the fryer vat. Now this heating element, you never want to get this top box wet. This is full of electronics, and it will ruin it, and it's thousands of dollars just for this one piece. So don't drop it. Don't get it wet. We hand wipe it down to get the grease off, and don't worry about getting it perfect. Just get any residue that you can off from it. So now I'm going to pull the vat out to set this down in. So now see, it's all the way down in the bottom. Look down in the bottom. See how it sits right on the bottom of the oil vat? And the oil vat is inside of the bottom pan. And then we're just going to slide it back. And then there's all these little heads in here you got to kind of navigate around sometimes. And once you get this heating element all the way to the back, look through up here, you can see there's a plug right here. And that plug goes into a little square hole in the back of the heating element. So you got to push it to the back, lift it up onto that plug, and it's just like plugging in an outlet, only there's like 6 prongs instead of 2. And that's it. Just a little bit of pressure. It doesn't take too much. So now we have the bottom pan and the vat. So we're ready to put in the basket lifter. Now you notice this little rod with a hole sticking out right here? That thing turns, and that's what lifts the basket. So the basket, first thing is to set it down in there. And then I'm going to use 2 hands. I'm going to use this hand to kind of angle this bar. And I need to get that rod down in that hole. So that rod goes in the hole. On the left side, the rod goes in the other hole. And then these just snap right down into here, into their little latch positions. Yeah, and that metal is meant to bend a little bit. So there we go. We've got it all back together. The bottom half. And now the top, we've got the fryer filter and the top pan. And this part goes towards the back. I'm just going to slide it back in, and it's just gravity sits in there, and then it slides back a little more, and it just slides into place. This has a magnet on one side for a sensor that's on the right side. All the electronics are on this side. There's no electronics on the other side, so any sensors are going to be on the electronics side. And it just sits down in there with just gravity. So as the fryer is hot, the air comes up through the bottom pan, through the oil fryer, and then through the air filter. And that just slides back in. And like all things, you got to kind of wiggle them side to side and find out, find the spot, because there's all kinds of little nooks and crannies in this fryer. Oh, the snap comes to the front side. I had it in backwards. Just got to remember so it's just like your suitcase, kind of a snap comes in the front side. You get your fryer basket, which you actually don't leave in there because you fill it with food and then put it in. But it can go right here for now. And then the last thing is the door to go on. And again, these are just 2 gravity hinges that sit on this peg here, and there's one down here. And it's a little tricky. You got to get them lined up at the same time. Just take your time. See, I rested my palm on the top and used my fingers, and it just sets right on there, no problem. And then there's a latch here to keep it closed. And a latch down here. And it's all back together. Last thing I'm going to do is plug it in. And for a week-to-week cleaning, you probably aren't going to unplug it because the plugs are way back down behind near the furnace. It turns back on, so the next thing to do is just make sure it works. But you notice there's no liquid in it. You can't run this dry. It'll ruin the heating element. Actually, it'll throw an error first, but it has to have liquid in the vat. So I'm going to grab... We're out in the workshop today. You're supposed to follow me. We're out in the workshop today. Me. Hi, over here. So we were just testing it and doing some extra cleaning on it, deep cleaning. You can see there's still little splotches of grease on it. That's normal. But it takes about 2 gallons of liquid. So you can do this with grease. We're doing it with water today. You might see these exact jugs over there with grease in them. And by grease, I mean fryer oil. Grease is kind of an older word for it. So there's one. And you notice you can fill right through the lifting basket if you got these jugs. And 2 gallons gets it right up to that first line for the cold oil level. And now I'm ready to turn it on. And if you look right here, you can see it's at 79 degrees. And it says heating. So you can't actually, it won't let you fry anything until it gets up to temp. So 360 degrees and it'll be ready to fry.